Dalton Vocational School, high school, it wasn't a high school for you to go to school to be lawyers and that's. It was an agricultural high school. That's what people don't misunderstand about Dalton Vocational High School. They had geometry and algebra and English and that stuff like that, but it wasn't. But the boys wasn't made to. We were raised to raise gardens, castrate hogs, castrate cows, vaccinate cows and hogs and stuff, and main thing was be able to raise a garden.
In 1954, U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower was in his first term in office. In 1954, Chariton County, Missouri, had around 13,000 residents, or double the present population. Also in 1954, official public segregation in America was on its way out. It was up until then that the color of your skin determined where you could shop, sit, and eat. And it was in 1954 that Dalton Vocational School began what would be its final school year. For 50 years, a unique school existed in southern Chariton County. Like other schools, Dalton Vocational School prepared young residents for the future. These students were not, however, able to attend their local schools because of the color of their skin. While adequate public education existed nearby, these students were denied access because they were black. The need remained to educate young area blacks and prepare them for future careers. To meet that need, Nathaniel Bruce founded the Bartlett Agricultural and Mechanical School in 1905. Bruce was inspired by his studies with Booker T. Washington and Alabama's Tuskegee Institute. Bruce built the school in Dalton. When a fire destroyed the school a few years after its founding, Bruce moved the school up the hill. The rebuilt school was later named Dalton Vocational School for the southern Chariton County town that served as its host. The 1954 Brown v. Board of Education Topeka decision by the U.S. Supreme Court declared segregation to be unconstitutional. Across the country, shops, restaurants, hotels, and schools all opened to blacks. This meant the end of Dalton Vocational School. Starting with the 1956 school year, Dalton students who were still of high school age started attending schools in their home communities. Keatsville, Brunswick, and Salisbury schools became integrated during this period. Throughout 2021, Dalton alumni and former students sat for interviews. They talked about the school grounds, lessons learned there, segregation, and memorable teachers at the former Dalton Vocational School.
Okay, Elliot Battle was our principal, and he was a very good principal. In fact, he was the only one that I had. Mr. Foster had just left the year before, so I didn't get a chance to know him. But Mr. Battle was a very strict principal, a very good principal. But his wife, Muriel Battle, I just loved her. She was so sweet. She was so pretty. And we would try to wear her hair like her, parted on the side. And, and she taught typing. And so, of course, we were all trying to be the best typist there was because we wanted to hear her praises. And she would. But she was our teacher as far as typing was concerned. And Mr. Battle was our principal.
Now you mentioned that you babysat the Battle children. How did that come to pass, that you were the one tapped of all these 200 kids? They chose you.
I don't know. I was in her class, for one thing, and I think she kind of liked us. It was Gloria was in her class too, Gloria Chin, and Mary Banton, all three of us. And so we just kind of become good friends with Miss Battle, and so she would ask us, we would always go over there voluntarily anyway. She said, would you like to watch them while I taught my next class, and then it won't interfere with your lesson, because I think we had a planning period or something. And so we would run across the street and babysit our kids while she was teaching, and then she'd come back and get them, and then we'd come on back over to the school. It worked out really good because we never was behind in our lessons. And then we'd have our outfits on to play basketball, go back to Dalton, and pick up everybody, and then we'd go on to Moberly. Or I think we played, we played Boonville, we played Moberly, and I think sometimes we did play Sedalia and Marshall. Those were the schools that I recall playing.
And these were segregated schools.
Segregated schools.
But you didn't call it segregated schools.
I know.
How did you refer to those other schools?
Well, that's all there was. They were all segregated schools, so that was it. As far as I was concerned, Moberly, I didn't think of the white schools. I just thought of the black schools. Lincoln, I think theirs was Lincoln High School. And so I thought, to me, Lincoln was the only school in Moberly. I didn't realize there was another high school. And then the same thing with Boonville, same thing with Sedalia, and same thing with Marshall. They had their own schools. Their schools were well equipped, looked like, and they had a gym, and they would have little socials afterwards. We didn't have all of that in Dalton. We didn't have a gym, but we made do. We would dance in the halls or something like that because we had no gym to dance in, when we'd have something after school. And but we, made do. That's all we knew.
So you didn't feel like it was a deprivation?
Not really, because I didn't know of any difference until I started going to the other schools. And I thought, why is Lincoln High School so much different than Dalton? Their school is much better than ours. You'd think of things like that, but I didn't even know they had a white school in Moberly or Boonville or anywhere. I just thought that was the only school there. And then finally I found out that they integrated in those cities too. And I said, you mean they left Lincoln High School, as nice as it was? But they did. And then when we had to integrate, which it was in the end of 56, that's when I realized, dang, Brunswick's got really a gym. They have a lot of things that we didn't have in Dalton. But I didn't realize that until after we integrated.
What did the institution give you?
Manners, and to be of good character, because I certainly didn't want to get in any trouble. You didn't dare over there. Mr. Battle would have kicked you out. So they taught us, they really taught us the right way to go. The way that I try to teach my kids is still in them. That, you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to be a troublemaker. When you started getting older, on a higher level, you better watch out because you could go to jail, and to stay out of jail and to, just manners, period. Dalton really, to me, was a good background for stuff like that. We had problems there. I don't really remember too many fights, though, to be honest with you, like I saw here at school and at Southeast or different places,
That was Diane Pippins. One of her classmates was Madeline Payne. Here, Payne shares memories of who was at Dalton Vocational School and from where they came.
I enjoyed it. I don't think there was all the people that went to, after you graduated from the 8th grade, you went to a freshman to Dalton Vocational High School. And kids come from different counties, 5 different counties.
So describe it to me. Describe the physical environment to me.
Oh, it was good because you learned you knew so many kids. Because there was a lot of kids that come from different places. They had about, 3 or 4 buses. They came from Slater that way, Gillum, Glasgow, Keysfield, all around. And everybody, you learn, where they was from, and you become friends with some of them. And it was a lot of kids. And we had all kind of activities too. And the buses were so loaded. I remember my husband telling me that the girls had to sit on the boys' lap, and they didn't have enough, said it was cold on the buses, and they didn't get no new buses. They got old used buses, and said that it was just bad. But they'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come to school, some of them.
That was Madeline Payne sharing her memories of students and the facilities at the former Dalton Vocational School. Some former students like Payne have great memories at the school. They graduated and went on to successful careers, some far from tiny Dalton, Missouri. However, for one former student, walking out was preferable to sticking around until graduation.
Oh, we used to go to Mobley and play ball. They did. I didn't play no ball. They got basketball and stuff. It didn't do no good to win because they run you out of town if you win.
Yeah.
Throw rocks at the bus, everything, yeah. We used to go to Mobley a lot.
Did you go to any of the dances at the school?
Everyone they had.
Everyone they had. What were those like?
Pretty nice.
What part of it? Where did they have them at the school?
Up in the auditorium. A big old room up there. It was pretty nice, though. I didn't get to go to the prom. I don't know why I didn't go.
Did you have a favorite class?
No. I was tired of school when I got out of 8th grade.
So you were one of the last to attend
Yeah.
there. Well, tell us about the day you quit. What do you remember about that?
Felt pretty good. I ain't coming back here. Someone said, you can't quit. I ain't got that much. You watch me. I said, go. They ain't signed no papers for you. You ain't for 17. I said, yeah, but at the end of the month I'll be 18. I signed my own. That's what I did. Yeah.
So did you just walk out of school that day?
Yep.
Did you walk home? Or
No,
how'd you get,
they got me a ride. They could get a ride out there pretty easy. There's a lot of business down there then.
Yeah.
They had feed store and hardware and all that kind of stuff.
That was Virgil Redding discussing his experiences at Dalton Vocational School. Another former student at the all-black high school is alumni Gladys Mann. In a summer 2021 interview, Mann reflected on the school dances at Dalton and cheering her boys on to victory.
In high school, did you have big celebrations? Like when you were yearbook queen, was there a dance or a...
They always had dances.
They had dances.
Yeah. We had a good time dancing too. Yeah, we had a real good time just dancing away.
And the dance was held at the school?
In the auditorium.
During the school day or in the evening? Or?
In the evening, a certain day that was a planned day for that. I forgot all about that.
And so what were the dances like?
Well, they was playing records. They didn't have an orchestra or something there or group there. They'd have playing records.
And did they have food and drinks or?
Maybe soda, something like that. Chips maybe, but no major meal.
Mm-hmm. Did you dress up for those
Sort
dances?
of. Yeah, sort of.
Did you go with a boy or everybody
Well,
went
you
alone?
just went to school. I went to school up there by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the guys because the guys was too slow for me. I didn't like it. Me and my girlfriend, Vesta Van Mann. You heard of her?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that was my buddy. She didn't like him, and I didn't either. There wasn't something. For no reason, we ain't even know nothing about him, but we called ourselves we didn't like him. Oh, I mean, that could really take you back in time.
And would other schools come?
Honey,
to
we
play
had a
this?
basketball team that they couldn't be beat. They could not be beat. And that was some of the kids that live right here in Salisbury. Those guys played ball. Glasgow, Salisbury, and Brunswick. I didn't care about that basketball too much. I liked it when the boys played because when they got to go out of town, we got to go. We was the, what you call it?
Cheerleaders.
Yes, we was cheerleaders, so we got to go with the boys when they got to go. So that's what we were. We were cheerleaders.
And would the school take you to
Yeah,
do that?
we got to go with the school, yeah.
Okay. Did you have a uniform or you just
No, we
went for fun?
dressed. We
Okay.
just dressed, whatever we dressed.
Oh, that's fun, yeah.
That was it. But we was the cheerleaders. We had to cheerlead our boys on.
Yeah, right. So then,
And yeah, I mean, none of us really didn't like him, you know, as a boyfriend or anything like that. They was just our
friends.
boys basketball team.
Yeah.
I don't think the boys liked us. I think they liked the out-of-town girls.
Teachers at the school lived on or near the Dalton Vocational School grounds. Here, William Payne Jr. recalled the school grounds and leaving for lunch during his senior year. Thank you to the former students and alumni who shared their stories of Dalton Vocational School.
They had a large building on the grounds that some of the teachers had. The teachers used to live on the premises. But when I started school, started high school, that was when the teachers started to live in different, in different communities. So they didn't have to live on the campus itself. But we had a little cafeteria that was was a little building off to the side. It was on the campus, and that was where at noon you could go in the little cafeteria and buy your lunch if you wanted to or whatever. But us older boys, we didn't stay on the campus at noon. We'd walk downtown and have our lunch down there, and you could get a sandwich and a bottle of pop and a bag of potato chips for 50 cents. So I guess we thought we were grown or whatever. So we did was getting off campus for a while, so we'd go down there at noon all the time. So, and some of the teachers, they didn't actually live in a dormitory. Some of the teachers was like my wife. One of the teachers lived with her mother, so they would board them, and they would only go home on weekends. Some of the teachers. Now, like when I was in grade school, that's the way it was. The teacher boarded with one of the students' parents and only went home on weekends. She had pride in school, and our basketball teams, our teams were in real good standing, so we had pride. Even though we didn't compete with any of the white schools or something like that, or all of our meets and stuff had quality people, and I mean you had pride, took pride in your sports. I think Dalton, it shaped my life because the teachers really gave you a purpose. You didn't go to Dalton and become a bum. It seemed like when you left there, everybody left with a purpose. You were gonna do something, and most people did.